ready to get your mind blown?
Revolution will be podcasted.
Yes. Yes. Guys, welcome to the bunker. It is a glorious day to be alive. It is the Tinfoil Hat Podcast, and we are blessed to be doing a swap cast with some of my favorite people. Live in studio is my brother from another mother, Mr. Eddie Bravo. Some might call him regular on the show. We're blessed that we're glad to have you back because we know you're about
Glad
to go
to be here.
Glad you're going to go and do a little surgery as well.
Yep, this Friday.
What?
Yeah.
Gotta
And
get-
then joining us via the power of Skype, they have an awesome podcast called Conspiracy Farm. I've done it a couple times, and I talk to one of the co-hosts almost a couple times a week. Obviously, UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich and my good friend Jeffrey Wilson. Everybody, how are you guys?
Greetings,
Good.
salutations, everyone.
You got
I'm not your good friend.
Pat.
Sam.
You
What
are.
the hell?
As soon as I said that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to hear that. You are my good friend as well. Everybody
Thank you.
in this, it's a circle of love. Guys, we are super excited. We're about a month and a half away from the big show. That's right. Live Nation presents the Tinfoil Hat Comedy Night at Cobb's. Tickets are moving quickly. If you ever want to go to San Francisco or you want to support the show, go to Cobb's. Go to cobbscomedyclub.com. Buy your tickets. We're doing a lot of stuff. I'm gonna do some tripping with Tripoli, man on the street stuff with the crowd that's outside the club. Some Q&A. Then we're gonna do stand up. Then we're gonna have a podcast in the middle of the show where we do Q&A with the crowd. Ask us your favorite questions. It's Eddie Bravo, Ryan Davis, my main man Trez Mulla, and then at the end, whoever brings the most people gets to do a private podcast with myself, Eddie Bravo, and Ryan Davis.
That's
Man.
kind of cool, right?
I think it's gonna be so much
How are we
fun.
going to keep track of that? How are they going to know?
We're gonna do roll call in the middle of the show. We're gonna have who brought people, and then we'll have them all stand up and we'll count the people. And whoever brought the most
shit.
people. You remember when the Warriors movie? It's like Warriors.
Yeah.
Where are the baseball players? Baseball players, you know, and they all stand up. So we'll see whoever stands the most. Whoever brought them gets to come in the back, hang out, smoke weed, and just go deep.
You Warriors are good.
You Warriors are good.
Real good.
Guys,
What's the next line?
Can you dig it?
Yeah. So, guys, Conspiracy Farm, for our listeners who may not know about your podcast, well, tell us a little about it.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, the Conspiracy Farm, ladies and gentlemen, was started. It's something that came about when I had Pat on my show a few times. I had a segment that was called the Conspiracy Triangle of Doom. It was 3 questions. Do you believe in extraterrestrial intelligence? Do you believe the official story of JFK, and do you believe the official story of 9/11? And I asked that of all my guests, no matter walk of life. And Pat was on several times, and we wound up kind of gravitating toward politics and conspiracy. And he asked me, hey, man, I've been kicking around this thing called the Conspiracy Farm, and do you want to co-host it with me? I mean, me being, I don't know who I am, I thought he was ribbing me for a while. It took me a minute for me to be like, all right, stop fucking with me. But he was legit, man. We've had 50-some episodes. I mean, we are all over the world, man. It's pretty humbling, actually. And the appearance on Joe just really fucking helped out quite a bit. But yeah, man, we've been having a really good time, man. Just doing our best.
And on Sam's on Sam's show.
Yes,
As
come
well.
on,
What's up?
dude. Come on. Now
As
you're
well.
no longer my good friend. Pat is my good friend.
I mean, again, Sam's been on a couple times. I mean, we talk about all this stuff, man. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, most of these conversations, I have more questions than I have answers. So we're just doing our best to kind of just, peel back the layers on some of this bullshit, speak a little truth to power, and, just kind of do our thing and have some fun.
I really like that you got, our podcast, your podcast. We try to cover similar stuff, but we definitely take two different ways to get there. I do like that you guys get some pretty insane guests on your show. Like, you've had a couple really good ones lately. Who were some of the big ones, the highlight reel ones?
Oh, I mean, I'm being a fan of Joe's podcast. I'm a huge fan of Randall Carlson, so having him on was fucking awesome. I really wanted to dial back from the political conversation when we had him on and really gain some perspective about, how much we have in common, how small we are, and we need to not get caught up in this right-left. We also had on Bulgarian reporter Dilyana Gaitanjeva, a fucking superhero. I mean, she blew the story pretty much off NATO and the West funding and funneling arms to ISIS. She found a weapons cache in Aleppo. And then recently we had her on, and she was talking about the 23, 25 plus biochemical warfare facilities that are all across Europe, all across Asia, all across Africa, in the different outbreaks that are happening in these countries where they're doing these experiments. I mean, that's where pretty much the weapons that went down in Syria came from. I implore people to definitely
And they're all
check that
documented. And
all
they're all documented. And the crazy thing about it is they have developed, they being the United States and the contracting companies for the Pentagon, have developed bioweapons that can specifically target a genetic marker, meaning Russians can die from this and most other people
Genetic
won't, or
specific
Chinese
bioweapon.
will die from these bioweapons and other people won't. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Could they do that with Americans because we have such a diverse,
That's the thing.
population?
Yeah, it'd probably be tougher. But in Russia, I mean, there's a set group of people for the most part in that region of the world. I mean, there's other people sprinkled in, obviously different genetics, but it would kill a larger number.
Be nice to have a douchebag bomb, right?
Yeah, wouldn't that take out these people for fucking sure? Now we live in
what percentage of DC would die if it were dropped there?
dude. We need to build a wall around DC. That's what I think, man. A giant fucking wall for all those.
How about a pedophile bomb?
Fucking for sure, dude. For sure. Which is very. So today, Jeffrey and I were kind of we talked while I walked my dog, and we kind of discussed what we should talk about today. And we're gonna get into some stuff that people want to hear, but I just kind of wanted to get into the current events that are going on right now, and with Syria and how, like, I don't know what's going on because I feel like Trump lost a lot of the conspiracy demographic with this move. But then I sit there and I go, what did he hit? Did he hit anything? Do we know what he hit?
Sam's paying attention. I like it.
Is it possible that, would it be possible to just say missiles were launched and absolutely no missiles or nothing was launched and it's all fake? Is that possible?
I do think that's
Could-
possible.
There was footage of explosions.
No, I know, but
going on
how do we know?
in real
no,
time? So
how do we know it's
there
real
was some
time?
serious detonations all happening literally at the same time all over the city. So there were definitely some tomahawks.
There's no way to
launched.
fake that, though? I don't know. It's probably real.
Anything is obviously possible, but I mean, I took to Twitter and a lot of people in Syria, and you just saw a lot of basically the Russian anti-aircraft, anti-missile systems going off. I mean, they supposedly knocked out whatever 30% of the 100 or whatever. So it's crazy shit, man. I mean, it's really fucked up. Even if Trump is doing this 4D chess or whatever, you still have the media towing the same line that Assad gassed his own people. So whether it's a limited strike or whatever they're doing, this is just delaying the inevitable. They're not removing Syria from the list.
Right. I mean, we all
Wesley
know
Clark said that shit in 2003 or whatever it was, 5 countries in 7 years or vice versa. And Syria's on the list, whether it's the pipelines or whether it's this stuff we're going to talk about later, what China's trying to do with the One Belt, One Road. That is a very strategic geopolitical point. Geostrategic point
But
as
the
well.
question is, like, here's the whole thing about Trump. I know you're a Trump guy, and I'm slowly. I don't like any presidents. I think anybody there, but I'm not buying into the narrative that is being forced down our throats on through the mainstream media about Trump being inept and being mentally ill and all that shit. I think it's all bullshit. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt just because I hate the media so much that whatever they're telling me, I'm just going to assume that other is true. But is this a master plan of this negotiator, who buys a little time, gives the military industrial complex a little taste? Why he buys a little time for more stuff to come down the line, like darker shit, like I
mean, this is the QAnon. This is the whole conundrum of this. Is he real? Is this essentially hope porn? Are they just kicking the can down the road and making people like us have this conversation to give us some measure of hope that something's going to happen? While I'm not seeing, there's supposedly 24,000 sealed indictments. I'm seeing no perp walks. I understand people talk about get the low-hanging fruit first, but I'm seeing no big heavy perp walks right now. When
hold on.
The
I'm
heavy
just gonna
shit that
say
we know's gone down.
Well, you're talking Clintons and stuff like that, but I do believe there have been some big arrests, in particular the guy from Backpage. Now, there was misinformation put out that he had pled guilty.
Can you tell the audience what Backpage is?
Okay, well, we had an episode on, and a friend of mine came on there, Justine Cross, who's a BDSM bondage mistress, and she was talking about how Backpage hurts, like, everyday prostitutes. And this is a different episode, but my opinion is that prostitution should be illegal. I think it's capitalism. I think it's a poor person's law, just like drugs, to throw poor people in jail. Escorts and sugar daddies are all perfectly legal, but this act isn't. She was talking that's going to hurt everybody and actually hurt like the people it's trying to protect. But they did do a raid. They did seize his website. It is offline. I think it's still offline. And he did plead guilty to money laundering from prostitution. He took money from business transactions that were going on in there. So in that case, that is a big arrest. You know, we have been.
Well, but there was also tied to that. There was a secret part of that website where there was supposedly, allegedly, human trafficking and child human trafficking and sex trafficking going on also.
If it's true, I don't know, but he did not plead guilty to sex trafficking. He did plead guilty to money laundering, and the sex trafficking was some misinformation.
And you wonder, that's where you wonder, Sam, and think about this, is when I say the low-hanging fruit, you know, the politician in Texas that just got popped for 6 counts of human trafficking, you know, he's a state senator, I believe, so he's not a DC guy, but that's a low-hanging piece of fruit, and so is the Backpage guy. And if you publicly come out and say that they're being indicted on, you know, pedophilia and all this other stuff, it's kind of interesting that you don't see that for him. And who is he giving up to save his ass from going to prison for the rest of his life?
No, that is interesting. And for sure, you know, I mean, Anthony Weiner, now this Hillary video is supposed to be out there. I mean, we have Q Anonymous talking about it left and right. And it's.
You think that's real, the Hillary video?
Well, my whole thing.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, the thing that's interesting about that video is they give a code to go to the black web to view it, and they say you have to punch in this code to be able to do it so you don't get in trouble, because otherwise the feds
that's why I don't want to look at
watching child porn or something like that. So obviously anybody that's clicking on that to go watch it, I think they're stupid. I mean, I'm certainly not going to click on that. I don't want to see it. You know, if the feds have it, which they do if it exists. You know, in time she'll end up paying the price for it. But you know, it's so hard to believe that someone's capable of these, and we know they've gone on. These crimes have gone on. Man, just imagine the heads exploding across this country if people at that level were actually doing this.
Oh, for sure.
Which they are, man, and that's what pisses me off.
Oh,
this kind of selective prosecution, and sometimes they're hit with not the hardest crimes. Like you got the gal from Smallville that just was pinched out in L.A. That's a part of whatever big, huge thing that's going on, and it's like I think they'll round up a few of those, but like I don't know, maybe they'll start singing. Maybe that'll be the psychology behind.
Sam and Eddie, I just want to let you guys know you live in Freakville.
Oh, yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah. I know.
You know, the more
Eddie, hey, let me ask you a question about LA and all this shit. I asked you, Sam, a while ago, and I read something about a restaurant in LA where they serve people, where it's a cannibal restaurant. Are you guys hip to this shit?
A couple times. I've been there a couple times.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It's really
It's
disgusting.
expensive.
They serve human flesh and pineapple on pizza, so it's a disgusting place to go. I have
side of booty hole.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, like
They got an A, at least.
We got an A. That is so interesting. They got everybody. Yeah, man, Hollywood's a disgusting place. And, you know, I mean, I myself have stepped up and like on Twitter and lit into like celebrities that were like shitting on Roseanne about when she was talking about Trump and child sex trafficking, you know, and it's like Patton Oswalt, who's this moral fiber, this guy who like lectures everybody on how to be gentlemen, is mocking that stuff. And I went to Twitter and called him a fucking, I got no blowback. I couldn't believe it either. I called him a fucking hypocrite. I didn't have one person hit me back going, "Oh, dude, leave him alone. You're not even funny." No, I mean, not one person said shit.
Wow.
You know what's crazy when you look at the numbers of how many children go missing every year in the United States? It's 800,000 to 1 million. We're talking about that on JRE the last time I was on.
And I researched those numbers, and you were 100% right, Eddie.
Yeah, it's fucking mind-boggling, right? And no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, no one gives a fuck.
You know
But the
why?
one
Because
thing,
it's all like, I mean, there's a concentration in Washington, D.C., but it's like all over the country. So,
Washington, D.C. is the #1 city
Right,
where they
right.
get kidnapped.
Well,
It's the number.
Pat, what did you just hit me with the other day? The 20-some plus thousand kids in Syria, in just Syria, whose
This
organs
is
have
nuts.
been harvested. 18,000 kids in Syria, just Syria, within the last few years, have had their organs harvested.
Can you
This
believe
is
that?
another huge, big business.
You know what I wanted to say was there's, every year, that's almost 1 million every year. If that's real and that's true, and this international child sex trafficking ring is really that big, and it's how many people, how many kids that were brought up to that system do we know personally? I'm starting to think.
The abduction of Johnny Gosh in Iowa was a huge story.
Yeah.
And Conspiracy of Silence, Eddie, I was so glad when you brought that up, because that is a huge, hugely repressed documentary that talks about how institutional this shit is, with government, cities, doctors, lawyers. Johnny Gosh, and if he wants to come at me, come the fuck at me.
Get
Johnny
at me,
Gosh's
homeboy.
dad, he was a paper boy. His dad sold his ass into that I don't know about sold, but facilitated getting him put into that shit. His mom, Noreen Gosh, tried to freaking bring the world down for the city cops to even help in searching for him, and they were so resistant, dude. And so you just knew they were part of facilitating this shit.
How about
it's crazy?
How about 20 years later he shows up to his mom's house for like 5 minutes just to tell her,
Yeah.
I'm all right. You got to leave me alone. I got to go. Got my handlers.
For real.
I mean, imagine that. Was she happy that he was alive, or was it better or worse? Was it better that he was dead?
And then
Right?
finding out how her husband facilitated that shit.
unbelievable. I want to
that's
get
just
in real
mind-blowing.
quick because we've said this number before about the children missing. I just want to bring up that what people say to me, and I just want to get your thoughts on it. And I don't believe what they're saying, but they're saying like, oh, most of these 80 to 90% of these kids who go missing with people they know, family members. And I go,
Abduction.
Even if it's not 800,000 that are put into this child sex traffic ring, if it's not 800,000 to 1 million, and half of them or 85% of them actually get, they're just runaways and they come back, or their real father took them or whatever. Even if it's 10,000 kids a year get kidnapped and put into these rings, even if it's 10,000, how many kids get shot every year in schools? Is it 20? Something like that?
yeah,
It's still ridiculous.
it is ridiculous.
When people, the craziest thing about it is anytime you bring it up, most people don't want to hear it, and they don't want to talk about it, and they don't want to hear it. And
It's even worse
after a while, I'm thinking, damn, somehow you're
worst-
probably part of this shit. Hey, 1 million kids a year, we probably are surrounded by kids that were brought up in that shit.
Well, dude, you know what they say?
They're probably all around us.
These kids and in Hollywood, I don't know what your guys' homeless situation is, but they say a lot of these kids, these homeless guys you see walk around talking to themselves.
It's got to be them.
It's
got to be them.
They are victims of that, and once they age out, if they haven't been off, they get thrown out, and they just got to survive. And that's why I always give them a call. I mean, like, who am I? There, but for the grace of God, go I. I've struggled with drugs, and I've gone through it, and I hand them $5.
I want to know, because I've heard quite a few actually interviews on whistleblowers, like people that were in it and brought up, and Kathy O'Brien's the most famous one. If you just punch in Kathy O'Brien, she'll tell you exactly how she got put into it. Her dad was molesting her, and Child Protective Services came in and said, we could take you to jail, or you could, come work for us, and we're going to need your daughter. And of course, he's going to say, "Fuck yeah!" So that's what she said. That's what Kathy O'Brien said. And she's huge. She's the biggest whistleblower, and there's a bunch of them. But she said once she got all her memories of her childhood memories are of old men fucking her and fucking kids around. That's all she remembers. And then she ends up getting pregnant. She has a kid. They take her kid, and her daughter is in the ring too.
Let me ask you something. Do you guys remember that politician that tried to pass a bill to clean up Child Protective Services, and only 13 people voted for it, and then they ran somebody against her. She didn't get elected. She's about to put out a doc, and she ends up being her husband and her die in a murder-suicide.
How about QAnon, that one drop with that said, randomly he said most celebrities come from child sex trafficking.
Oh, I
Did you read that? I mean, like,
why do people blow up? Why this person over anybody else? Why?
Do you think it's going to take like a Cosby event? We're going to need to literally, because people talked about Cosby knowing what he was up to for literally 15, almost 20 years more. Is it going to take that type of event? We need like a high figure that just gets caught with his pants down in a child.
I think it's always been around, and it's always been an industry, and it's not going away. It's too powerful. It's always been that way, because you think about raising an empire 101. If we're gonna build an empire, it's a fucking great idea, and all we're concerned with is keeping our power. And if all you're concerned with is keeping your power, telling your people the truth, that's low on the list of priorities. It's not about telling them the truth. It's about telling them what they need to know so that you keep your power, right? Wow. And of course, the smart thing to do if you have your own empire is to take all the orphans, all the runaways, kidnap children, raise an army of children that you've just tortured and traumatized. You ate some of them, you raped some of them, and then after 10 years of this empire, you got all these zombies ready to kill for you, and you just drain them of all their empathy by making them molest each other, making them kill other kids.
Yeah.
So by the time they're 15 and 16, and they realize
they're
what the fuck.
cold-blooded.
Yeah, they're like, what are you gonna do? You just
their personality. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
A lot of this has to do with also MK Ultra.
Yeah, splitting their brain.
All kind of an extension of that. They use sexual trauma and other trauma to basically fracture your personality and create, your Sirhans or whatever kind of fucking Manchurian.
So think about this. After a few generations of raising these fucking psychopaths and doing what you're supposed to do. What are you supposed to do is you put them into positions of power, in politics, in the entertainment business. So after a couple thousand years, can you imagine that everybody in power, in key positions of power, have been brought up in that situation? So generally, if you have all these people in positions of power who were brought up through the system who have a kink for fucking kids because they've been fucking kids since they were a kid.
Yeah.
So that's why there's this giant industry for it, because it'll never go away, because they're just everywhere and they're all in positions of power.
So you don't think anything can be done?
I don't think anything's ever going to be done.
Well, even if it's not kids, it's whatever proclivity they have. Drugs, chicks, hookers. I mean, obviously that's the lightweight shit anymore.
Yeah.
They always hit you with the pedophilia thing. That's the real scarlet letter anymore.
My friend hit me up today and said that he believes Pornhub is a CIA website.
I don't doubt it.
That they basically just use whatever weird shit you're into. So now the government has giant files on it. Like, I watch interracial gangbang porn. So I'm on their fucking market.
One of the conversations we had, Sam, was the infighting and the taking over and the co-opting and the infiltration of this kind of alternative movement.
Oh, yeah,
and that's
dude.
what a lot of this is. Go to my site. So they start tracking IP addresses, and the more frequent you see it, or you go there, you're leaving your digital footprint, and all of this is being, going into metadata.
Can you go into some of the stuff that's going on within the, because you were dropping some bombs on me today that was very interesting. George Webb, and all the, what's it? Something the truth. What's it called?
There's always been, I never really want to mention any names necessarily because there's so many moving parts in this movement. And
Sam just got himself offed.
Really?
No, I mean, the rumor. Look, today I was accused of being a disinfo agent and an intelligence agent in some of the comments. Pat revealing he's a Mason. He's also now drinking baby's blood out of severed children's skull. It's all we're all on the list, and we're all.
I'm a gay Jew shill. I don't know if you know that. I'm a gay Jew shill. That's what I get told.
Exactly.
All the time.
Exactly.
All the fucking time. So
I'm a shill because of all the stupid shit I said. That's what they say. They go, "Oh, he's perfect.
Exactly.
He's perfect." They're not gonna
90% awesome, and then because of the flat Earth, he's disinfo. I mean, it's like we can all disagree on certain aspects of this shit,
but
without necessarily being agents of the government.
I do find that's a big problem within our community. Is that if you say one thing they don't agree with, all of it's bad. Yeah. And you just come from this awful fucking place. The YouTube comment section is just fucking brutal with like disinformation, gay Jew shell, just boom, boom, just over and over. Like I've been told that Ryan is a fucking CIA asset since day fucking one.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I hear.
And he's so good at what he's so good at what he does, you can't even figure that shit out.
Yeah, that's how good it is, dude. I've never been to his house. I don't even. What is your real name, dude?
Yep, I don't exist. I love it.
Yeah, it is. So it's like so. Because okay, so you got all these guys fighting with each other. You've actually believed, but Jeffrey, do you fall under that sometimes in terms of like one or two things that you don't agree with? You think that maybe because we had what's her face on. I guess if we're not doing names. But, we had, Trish the Dish on since that's her. And you felt like she might be some misinformation because she believes in Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, the whole hologram thing, that just threw me for a loop. I don't really know Trish that well. We did have her on. And, she's a very smart lady. A lot of the stuff we talked about, she's spot on about. For me, personally, Jeff Wilson, when somebody says something like that, it's just a fucking curveball. I'm smart enough to know what I don't know.
Holograms flying into the Twin Towers.
I mean, come on, man. Come the fuck on.
Like, really? Wow.
Would that be possible? Would it be possible?
Was there
live? Was there?
Beware of.
Well, if they faked it,
it is possible. Project Bluebeam is absolutely real. And almost not to jump to the fucking flat Earth. NASA's lied about every fucking thing. The CIA, FBI, I trust none of that shit. Exactly. So I feel what you're saying. If they were produce a report from the CIA, I just don't trust it. But at the end of the day, we still have to, whatever.
Yeah. So with the hologram theory, I looked into it a little bit, but not too much, because it does kind of take away from the only thing that's really important in the whole 9/11 thing is Tower 7. That's it. It's
Tower 6. What about Tower 6?
Tower 6 wasn't videotaped.
7 is
I'm talking about, we have video, 5 angles of Tower 7 going down. If that wouldn't have been filmed, it going down like that, it would have been some like Loch Ness monster conspiracy theory.
Well, remember BBC
you know what I mean? We have it
20 minutes before
on video. So if that one got controlled demoed, that's pretty much proof that that's how 1 and 2 went down as well.
Who brought this up to me? My friend David Deary, who was there live, saw it. He brought up something to me about 9/11 that I'm like, holy fuck. These buildings go down, they fall on top of each other. None of them fall down and nail another building that nails another building. Like Godzilla, and they're just knocking buildings over like domino style. It's like this was so specific and that it just falls on top of each other, which is this like kind of clean way of doing it. Meaning like
at free fall speed, don't forget.
Yeah, but totally. But if this was just some random thing that might happen, how come it didn't cause some weird kind of domino effect that knocks over these other buildings, like many other buildings? Exactly. It falls in on itself.
Yeah.
Like that to me is like that. That says control demolition to me more than anything.
Yeah.
We didn't see.
For me, the real smoking gun was the guy who wound up getting a medal from George Bush. I think his last name was Robert Rodriguez or something like that. He was basically the main janitor for World Trade Center 1 and 2. And he said before any buildings hit at all, and he has video of this, he saw a guy in the substructure in the basement elevator come out with his skin hanging off. So there were explosions at the base of that motherfucker before any planes hit. And he's even said that over and over.
And those firemen on video, like I said,
here's
there were bombs.
The thing is, all those, I've looked at the film of Tower 7, and you can see what looks like explosions going off and windows going out and all that. There's charges going off systematically in it. And yes, when they go down, it looks like definitely controlled demolition. But here's the thing: how in those massive buildings with thousands of people going in and out of them were guys disguised as utility workers doing work in there and planting C4 explosive charges in the walls of
Israeli art students, dude.
Wasn't it one of the Bushes? The Bushes ran the security company that Securicom, I think it was. I mean, this probably took place over maybe a year to wire that shit.
Dude,
if you run the building.
If I'm working in that building and I see people, going into walls and putting stuff on pillars and all kinds of stuff like that, man, I'm thinking somebody had to notice that there was some wires being run and some some friggin' C4 being stuck to shit. I mean, come
I
on.
could send you the video, Pat. This woman breaks it all down. It's first of all, you're right, Jeffrey. The Bush cousin is the security company who is securing
Marvin Bush.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
I
his
think
name.
Neil or Marvin. It was Securicom is the name of the company, though.
But that guy is also the same company that was doing security for the Oklahoma City building, federal building. It's the exact same company.
What a coincidence.
It's strange how it works out. Now, this woman put out something that shows these Israeli art students. Basically, you could see where it is, against the walls. There it is, the C4. It says on the box. She breaks down exactly where it came, what it is, where it came from, man. And they were going in and out of that thing for 2 weeks.
Well, it wasn't there ongoing remodeling or doing something to the elevators, like elevator repair forever. And when they looked at the company that was doing it, it disappeared. It didn't.
Yeah.
What about that?
I hadn't heard that story.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that story.
I know the owner of the building, the Silverstein, had just renewed his insurance to include terrorist attacks. Weeks before, a couple months before.
And how he was the only day since he had bought that, which I think he bought a year before or 6 months before. It was the only time in which he wasn't there. That was the first day he didn't go to the office. Him and his family.
You guys got to fuck with somebody named Webster Tarpley, dude. He's wrote a great book called Synthetic Terror, and he's like, there was almost 60 to 80 different war games going that day, simulating the very same thing: the Pentagon, the World Trade Center. So that's why you hear on these radio air traffic control, is this real time, or is this whatever they said? Is this real, or is this a war game, or whatever they're saying?
I've been trying to get
Webster Tarpley. That's to create that convolution, that fog of war.
I've been trying to get him on the show forever because he talks about how basically Russia helped Abraham Lincoln, and that because Britain and Spain were going to come in on the side of the South because
they were. The UK was funding the South in that war, and they were giving us dough. They were helping us out. That's kind of a fact.
Well, nobody knows about that, and it blows their mind when you tell them that. That's one fact more than anything else that disturbs people. That Abraham Lincoln got help from the Ruskies. You know what I'm saying?
But how do we know that though? That's
it's like over
years ago?
Well, it's over a period of time of evidence that
there are historical records that it's just a matter of finding it. You know what I mean? It's
Well, and with Abraham Lincoln, his famous statement about the Civil War was, I have two enemies: the one in front of me, the Confederate Army, and the one behind me, the central bank, and I fear the one behind me the most.
For sure, dude.
There were
That's the
obviously some powerful globalists involved and the central bank also funded the South, but Lincoln tried to get it all done with war bonds. He wasn't able to get it all done with war bonds. He had to take some loans from the central bank, but the South, and Albert Pike was one of the big people who organized the South's financing by the central try and split away from the Union.
The UK was trying to get a little revenge for losing the Revolutionary War. Basically, they were trying to foment, the Civil War and secession and all that shit.
Speaking of fomenting the Civil War, all the
nice segue,
all the stuff going on with back to Trump. I have to go back to Trump because
please do.
Breaking news that Nancy Pelosi, this just broke today. Nancy Pelosi claims that Mueller was fired in bizarre emails to her donors. She's trying to raise money off the fact that Robert Mueller has been fired by Trump, and Trump's like, "Are you high?"
So he didn't fire him.
No. Here's the thing, and Jeffrey will probably argue with me about this. I'm telling you, man, I just don't see FBI agents going into the president's attorney's office and taking his records. This is something so unprecedented and so, as Jeffrey put it, Banana Republic. Like you just can't do stuff like this. This is serious bending of the law, man. This is hardcore stuff that's going on.
Are they desperate though, Pat?
I'm still convinced. Cohen and Trump okayed all of this because of the records of the Russian. He's in Cohen's records for paying Trump $150,000 for a short video speech to a Russian company. But that's the same guy that paid $25 million to the Clinton Foundation. And I think that they have to continue their investigation of that individual, which will lead them back to Clinton again, along with all the other stuff, the Podestas and Manafort worked for the Podestas when they were lobbying for the biggest Russian bank. I mean, all of this stuff keeps going back to the DNC and their ties to Russians and nobody else. And I'm telling you, man, if Trump isn't setting a trap and letting the momentum go so far before the bomb gets dropped on these people, I'd be very surprised. I really think that something big is coming.
Jeffrey, you don't think this?
Like I said last night on our show, anymore, man, I'm not necessarily confused. You just don't fucking know until it happens. You know what I mean? Like I told you, Sam, they're all fucking gangsters, man. If Trump is a Corleone and just wants to stay with fucking whores and numbers, that's his branded gangster. These guys are Tatalias. They want to start moving in the drugs and shit. It's just a matter of them being, like I said, they're all gangsters. But they're all controlled. I think they're all controlled in some way, shape, or form. I think Jared Kushner has his ties.
How's that guy not arrested?
Nefarious shit.
How's Kushner not arrested? I mean, is he anything less than what Benedict Arnold did? I mean, he has given these foreign countries access for the longest time to the Oval Office. I mean, like the whole thing about the meetings with the Russians, it was done on behalf of Israel to get Russia not to vote against them and for the UN motion to basically say that Israel, what they were doing was illegal.
Did you hear about the the rumor? Because some people are speculating that this is all just a 4D chess move by Trump.
Yeah,
and there's also the other side saying that with that raid of his lawyer's office, that they got a lot of blackmail on him, and there's a rumor out there that they got blackmail on his daughter, and so he decided to go along with the bombing. He didn't want to do it because they basically have him compromised now.
Well, I mean,
And
look at all the
that's
timing
what,
of
that.
that.
That's the other side.
The lawyer gets raided, and then this happens. And like I said, when Trump made his announcement that the bombings were happening, he looked like he was doing a fucking POW video. That did not look like fucking Donald Trump with all the swag and shit. It looked like somebody had him by the balls. I could be wrong. I'm not a fucking FBI, behavioral scientist, but I think they're all. You don't become president unless you're compromised. I know he seems like he's the lone gunslinging white fucking hat, but you just don't get to that level. And there's too much investment in this whole thing to bring some fucking lone dude. It's the hope porn, brother. I think
unless he wasn't supposed to win, and he got in by accident.
But presidents aren't elected; they're fucking selected. We know this.
I don't know, man. I mean,
we're hoping because if you're right, hey Jeff, if you're right,
fucking perp walks,
Jeff, if you're right, we're fucked. We're fucked. But if you're right, the one thing I don't get about it is, it's like people say, oh, everything's fake, and you can't trust any politicians, and presidents aren't elected, they're selected, and all that, right? And maybe behind the scenes, Trump and Hillary are like best friends, and it really is. It's WWE fake. Like
I was just gonna say, Trump taught fucking Vince how to do WWE.
I don't know. Either it's WWE fake between Hillary and Trump. Either it's, and we're fucked.
Do you guys think that's possible?
Hold on. Or
I don't think so, man.
Oh no,
Hillary's taken such a beating.
Or it's
stuff that's going on right
of course.
Now, the lawsuits that are going on against her and the Clinton Foundation and the Global Initiative. I think there's no way in hell in my mind that she took the dive for the globalists.
Okay.
So she's been put through, man.
I think there's a legit internal war. There's a legitimate internal war happening in the globalist camp. Your patriots, if you will, and then your old school who just want to keep it kind of going, and your cats who are just like done with the fucking Clintons going in and fucking harvesting organs in Haiti and abducting children's and you know what I mean, all this shit.
Okay, so we're in agreement.
Contingent of inside folks who are done with this shit.
Yeah, so we're in agreement then that it's not WWE fake, right?
Right.
It either is or it isn't. If it is, we're fucked. If it is, we're fucked.
I disagree. It does not have to be a binary choice like that. Either they could not like each other like the fucking Tatalias and the Corleones, but still be doing dirt.
No, but I'm not talking about if they like each other's personalities. I'm saying, is it WWE fake, like 100% scripted, and like Alex Jones is involved? It's that kind of scripted. Trump, it's all script. Does everyone get a script, or it's legit? And Trump and Hillary really do hate each other, and they really are going after each other. If they really are going after each other, then there's a really good possibility that Trump wasn't supposed to get in, but the people do have the power. We know the people have the power. We could see that with marijuana laws. No way did the federal government want state by state to legalize weed. We know that the people do have the power, and we know that by other ways, because there wouldn't be bribes if it was all WWE. There wouldn't be people getting suicided if it was all WWE.
Okay.
If the people didn't have the power, there wouldn't be this sophisticated propaganda brainwash machine going on television. We wouldn't need the CIA taking over CNN and running that shit if the people didn't have the power. So I think because of we know for a fact that people are being bribed. We got the lobbyists. We got people being suicided. We got child sex trafficking. We got all that. So when you look at it that way, it's easy to lean to maybe it's real. Trump wasn't supposed to be elected, because if it was WWE, they would have just said fuck all this shit. Just put Hillary in. Let's kill the First and Second Amendment, and let's just fucking totally censor the internet. If Hillary would have won, we would have been living in a different motherfucking world right now. But
Absolutely.
if it was
And I think with the Russian collusion investigation that started before Trump was even elected, when he was nominated as the Republican guy, the man for running for president on the Republican ticket, they were spying on him at that point. The Obama administration and the Clintons and everybody else pushed that stuff through with financing that false dossier, and they would have found something. They would have found something on him at that point to stop him from becoming president. They would have, they could have, maybe they got to the point where they were like, we can't even fake something right now. Let's just get this FISA warrant so we can spy on him some more, and try and do our best to derail this guy. But I'm telling you, man, they call him the Teflon Don for a reason. I think the people were seeing through it early on.
Pat, is it possible that all this Russian collusion shit is what they heard, and that's what they're putting out because they might have heard?
No, they were the ones doing it. They were the ones projecting exactly what they were doing upon Trump. That's an Alinsky. That's a rules for radical gospel thing that you want to do. You want to project crimes that you're committing onto your opponent, your political opponent.
Oh yeah,
and that's what they've been doing this whole time.
It's called in intelligence terms. It's called gaslighting. But the Russian narrative thing did not come out until Seth Rich died, and not the leak, not the hack, but the leak went down. That's when the real Russian narrative happened. That's when they didn't go to the DNC, did not go to the FBI. They went to this company called CrowdStrike, and that's when they crafted the Russian narrative, the Russian collusion narrative. When Seth put those fuckers on blast and then they killed Seth.
The fact that the FBI that the DNC didn't even go to the FBI, right there is when you realize something's up.
Because they didn't want to allow for Freedom of Information Act, recourse for people to find out what the fuck happened. So they went to a private company called Crowdsource, which has one of the guy's dad was a former Russian KGB. It's all former Intel cats.
Hey, Eddie, is it possible that maybe both sides are on the take, both Trump and Hillary are on the take, and that the drama that's going on is that maybe the powers that be had moved on to Trump? They're like, we're going to back this horse because everybody hates this chick, and they're controlling both, but they're kind of throwing Hillary under the bus, and that she's kind of fighting back, and maybe this is just a drama that they like because either way they win out.
Well, how is the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, all of Hollywood, how are they all working together against Trump? If that was the case, if they decided to switch it to Trump, why are they going after him so hard? It looks like I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
I'm hope. We should all hope that Trump wasn't supposed to win. That they thought they underestimated him and they underestimated the people, and he got in and they fucked up, and now they got to do everything to destroy him. I hope it's that, because if it's not that and they're all working together, then we're fucked either way. You know what I mean? I'm not.
I don't. I don't think they're working together, but I mean, whatever you want to call them, the architects of our society, the rulers of the world, the black nobility, the Illuminati, they always are funding both sides. They just sit back. It is a fucking WWE game for them. So they basically throw the money out there. Hey guys, fight if you need to. I don't give a fuck. But here's the parameters on how you operate in society. You're no lone gunslinger. You don't stop our pipelines and our rat lines of guns and drugs and people and all this other shit. Here's the parameters of how you operate. Fight if you need to.
So it would be like the Illuminati. Is the Illuminati Vince McMahon and everything scripted, or is the Illuminati like Dana White? And to Dana White, it doesn't matter who wins really, as long as the fights are real. And it doesn't really matter. The UFC, the Illuminati grows. You know what I mean?
I would say it's the latter.
Right? It doesn't matter, right? But the fights are real. The fights are real. The fights between the Democrats and the Republicans are real. But it doesn't matter who wins. Like it doesn't matter if Trump, like if Trump,
of everything are making money still.
Yeah,
they're always
you,
backing financially both sides, so it doesn't matter to them
at that level. So there's that upper level that really is not American. Like the people that are actually running the world, they're not like American or Jewish or Russian or Chinese. They don't give a shit. What I think they all want to clear the borders out and want a one world government, a new world order. That's what they're trying to do, right?
Moving everybody out of the rural areas, making them less self-sufficient.
Yes.
It's basically fucking Morpheus in the Matrix holding up the battery. That's all the fuck we are to them. And the more least self-sufficient we are, the better.
Yeah, so think about that level then. So that level
That's Agenda 21.
doesn't really
Agenda
get
21.
Yes. So there is that level that you could be on that level, and the people, if we were sitting here right now with the people that are on that level, they probably don't give a fuck if Trump drains the swamp, if he catches pedophiles. They probably don't give a shit about that. It's probably so insignificant to them what happens politically. But the people that do care about that are the American citizens, because we're the ones that have to pay tax. We have to pay taxes.
That's the social engineering. That's the behavioral science aspect of it.
We
have to be
I
fighting.
think the elite do care, though. I think the elite do care because they're the ones that are the pedophiles, many of them.
I think they're going to be.
We already know a lot of this. You know, you've talked, about the BBC, the British Family, Eddie. You know about all of that stuff, dude. And this harkens me back to QAnon. He's been right by the people that have truly studied him. They're giving him credit for like 1,117 drops that ended up.
Can you explain?
Absolutely being prophetic. And just to give you a couple.
QAnon, can you let people know?
The airport in Thailand and the gate that the person was picked up and arrested. The Russian was held by the Thai government.
Most people don't know.
And then also when he posted, pay attention to the news in eastern Michigan in a couple of days, and a meteor crashed down in eastern Michigan, which had many believe that it was probably a Chinese or Russian satellite that got shot down.
Or
now explain. Most people, believe it or not, don't know what QAnon is or QAnon.
Yeah.
Can you explain that really?
QAnon is in my best estimation
what is it?
Military intelligence.
But what is
said
that?
So many things that have ended up coming true.
Can you tell them?
It's impossible to know, and he deliberately leaves what he calls crumbs for people to research and find out for themselves. He's trying to educate people by forcing people to do research and educate themselves, and that's the cool thing about this person, whoever this individual is. People are doing a lot of research because of him.
I agree, and what he does is he talks in a form of he asks questions, because I think what he does is he can't let people know who he is, so he can't give
it's illegal. He explained that already. He explained that he can't, the reason why it's so mysterious, all the little clues he's leaving, is he can't say anything straight out because it's against the law.
I mean, like, dude, he's called out North Korea and how North Korea is probably most likely a CIA psyops. He
said that?
Oh, yeah.
People thought I was crazy for saying that.
You remember when he said chase the white rabbit? Now, I got that whole, spreadsheet that someone sent out. It was sent to me when we first started doing it. Remember I told you about that?
Yeah.
And I was like...
The satellite picture?
Well, they sent me this thing that basically was like the original drops that Q had put out. Someone from the Navy sent it to me, and I was like, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I later went on, so I go, holy fuck, this is everything.
If someone...
Hold on. And he called out, and the bottom was like, follow the rabbit, Sam. and then the rabbit comes out. It's this North Korean this hotel
Facility.
base that when you outline it, it looks like a hare. It looks like a rabbit. And that's where they were saying that Obama was, and all this crazy shit. So he's gotten stuff right so
saw that shit, dude.
fucking
It's wild.
much.
If people, there's again, most people don't know what the hell QAnon is. Most people are walking around, they have no idea. He's been dropping a lot of crumbs, clues on 4chan or 8chan or something like that.
4chan.
I've never been on that, but to someone who's like, who the hell is QAnon? Where should we send them? Where could they? What's the best videos for like introduction to QAnon?
Now it's the 8 Anon, because that's the whole thing in that community. The original
8chan,
QAnon,
8chan.
8chan. I'm sorry. The original Q was on 4chan, and that's the thing now. People are saying he was compromised or taken out, and now this new Q, which is on 8chan, is somehow different. I mean, I follow it a little bit because it's like months and months of these riddles, dude. I'm just like, fucking say something already, dude. It's kind of frustrating.
And now there's a new one. There's
Passwords were compromised. Somebody was sending out fake Q messages, drops, whatever you want to call them. And
Which ones were fake?
and He had to,
Which ones
he
were
had to
fake?
douse that account and start another one.
Well, let me ask you something, Jeffrey. Is it going to take the arrest of Hillary Clinton for you to believe that Q is true? Because there has been a lot of stuff that's come out. The stuff about Facebook they talked about forever.
What did he say?
He was basically saying it's a fucking CIA connection.
But we knew that.
they're
You know what I
studying.
mean? A broke clock is fucking right twice a day. Shit like the Awans. Why are we talking about fucking this porn star and stripper? Where'd the Awans go?
Well,
The
we
biggest
do talk
fucking
about the
spy ring
Awans.
in Congress ever.
Yeah, but-
where'd it go?
But who do you
Right.
want to talk about it, Jeffrey? You're never going to have the mainstream media talk about. We talk about the Awan brothers all the time.
My point is, as far as like Trump and his veracity, his legitimacy, if he's he should be like, hey guys, tweeting every day. Remember the Awans? What the fuck about this spy ring of these Pakistani motherfuckers who had all of our congressmen by the balls?
It's interesting.
Stormy Daniels is somehow more fucking important and on 60 Minutes than the Awan brothers.
Well, if you want the mainstream media to talk about the Awans, brother, if you hold your breath, Jeffrey, you're going to be dead. It's just the
they
truth.
were for fucking a few seconds when the people who broke the story broke it.
Because they have to. They have to play the game, and then they immediately bury it. They have to put something out for the most part. You're never going to hear it. It's we in this podcast and everybody listening. Look up the Awan brothers. See what's really going around. See Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Why don't you check out the fact that Debbie Wasserman Schultz has had 2 humongous spree shootings in her county that they basically let happen. The Parkland High School shooting and the Fort Lauderdale airport shootings.
And her brother is in charge of the Awan's case, by the way.
Yeah, which is unbelievable. So that stuff we have to do as the conspiracy theorists. It's never going to come out. Anderson Cooper's never going to talk about it. And if it does make it to the screen, somebody fucked up. Like when they had that story.
Everybody should be reposting the video of her trying to grill the Capitol Police Chief about getting that laptop back that they found. And she's sweating bullets and freaking out and making threats against the Capitol Police. I tell you what, man, that video should be released every day by everyone over and over and over.
If we realize that, and Eddie was talking about that, everybody's in on it. Like at almost every level, because we've seen this, dude. We've seen
I would say everybody.
11 mayors. We've seen 11 mayors, Democratic mayors, get arrested for child trafficking or child sex last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, 11 mayors?
11 mayors
That's
throughout the
incredible.
country. Throughout the country, we've seen law enforcement busted for it. I mean, we've seen judges let stuff go. So we're talking very high level people, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be, and then you got the media. They're in on it. Anderson Cooper's not going to call anybody out. I mean, we see those pictures of him with John Bonet in the back of his thing. I mean, like, we've seen this shit. It's so hard to get this shit out because at every corner, there is somebody there trying to stop it. And, like, dude, the guy from the FBI got fired. The CIA guy stepped. I mean, it's just more and more people that. It's like whether if we're gonna say Trump is this white hat, we're just gonna say this. And I think at that level, everyone's got blood on their hands. But if we're going to say he's fighting, because all these people have gone after him, Facebook, the mainstream media, all these people, it is going to take time for shit to happen because he's up against the entire system at the highest level.
And that was the thing is, if all of this stuff is true and you've got, okay, just say you've got 10,000 indictments, not the 24,000 that are supposedly out there. It's going to take a decade at least to try all of these. At least.
I think they're going to get away with it.
Half the defendants will be dead by the time the friggin' trial comes around.
It is very telling to all these retirements, and you see Speaker of the fucking House, Paul Ryan, whose political future is right in front of him, now retire and say he wants to run. That's pretty telling.
That is, it's unbelievable. It's going to just take time. The mainstream media, Facebook, we just go FBI, all went after Trump. And if this is theater, then I don't get it because the very top people, those are their propaganda machines. Like Facebook, what came out about Facebook now? He talked about it. With the LifeLog, I sent you that thing where basically the Pentagon, on the day that they stopped the LifeLog project that they had, which was going to collect your data for your life, on that day they stopped it is the same day Facebook was formed.
Couldn't they wait a couple weeks?
It's like...
honestly, you think about that. What the CIA used to have to do to profile people. They used to have to fucking get like spies and all that shit to get profile and all this information on people. We volunteer that shit, dude. We have diarrhea of the fucking mouth and fingers. I'm taking a shit now. Isn't it great? Like, people will fucking say anything now. It's insane. Remember back in the day when someone would listen to your conversation, like, dude, get the fuck out of my business, dude. We just volunteer that shit now.
Remember
you know what? Here's the crazy thing. How many of you guys have sat there and thought about, I know Jeff and I have, and I'm sure you guys have, all the different things we've posted to build that profile of when it goes down, when the globalists take over, they're coming to my house first to get my ass.
Oh, no.
There is no doubt. And you can't erase that shit.
The NSA has basically said that they are now going to start compiling info on alt-right conspiracy and the conspiracy. I know they are.
All the media.
You and I both know they have done that, but now they've openly said it to everybody, almost like a warning. If you're talking about this shit, you're on our records. Which, again,
you can't get out of life alive, man. Let fucking justice be done till the heavens fall, dude. That's where we're at right now, dude. We gotta stay the fucking course, man.
And
would the American people? I know I've always been an independent contractor for the most part. I have to pay taxes quarterly or at the end of the year, depending. All of those small business owners across the country. Tax revolts throughout history, and sometimes it ended in a king and queen getting their heads chopped off, and sometimes it ended in a lot of citizens getting butchered. But some shit went down when it happened, and you think, what if, because it's not illegal, and who knows, I'm going to get audited for saying this, but imagine if everyone who did that had to pay taxes at the end of the year, if everyone, all those millions upon millions of people filed an extension at the same time, and then filed another extension, and then made demands and said term limits, this is what's going on, this stops, and this stops, these are our demands, we're going to have a convention of the states, and we're going to take back control. The states need to take back control of the government from D.C., and this is the way it's going to go down. And until it goes down, we're not going to pay our taxes, and we're going to let this shit collapse.
I always heard that our tax money just went to pay interest on them making money out of thin air. Like, it doesn't really go to any.
Either way, it's going to hurt, isn't it?
It's going to, but we are so fractured now. The information you get, the information Eddie gets, Ryan gets, you guys get, is everybody gets their own information. It's so back in the day when there was 4 channels and a couple radio stations, we all got to say it was so much easier. Now they got us all fighting with you. I don't know how you get anybody to fucking all agree to do that.
Well, we're conspiracy theorists all have one thing in common. We're paranoid and we don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
So that's going to keep going like within the community. You know what I mean? And you don't actually need shills that are like paid shills. All you need is to just accuse people of being shills. That's all you need. Just to have people just hire a couple people to make some videos to make it look like shields. Because we're all in agreement that 9/11 was an inside job, right?
Yes.
Everybody's in agreement?
Yeah.
Have you guys, right? Right?
Yes,
no one's,
at
there's no
very
argument.
least- at very least, our government knew that attack was planned. I mean, that was obvious. We
I
knew
think-
100%.
Okay,
that they
so
wanted to use
okay.
airplanes
Do
as
you ever,
missiles and take down buildings.
have you noticed that when back in the day in the 2000s, if you went to YouTube and you searched 9/11 inside job, you would get like the legit videos, right? You wouldn't automatically get because you guys are aware that someone is a lot of people are producing videos to debunk 9/11, and there's a campaign to flood out the real videos. Have you seen? There's documentaries, man. There's 9/11 documentaries that will air on Nat Geo. Tells you right there what Nat Geo is about. That they'll air, and it looks like based on the commercials, like, coming up tonight, was 9/11 an inside job? And you're like, oh shit, it's on Nat Geo, fuck yeah. And then you watch it and you realize it's a propaganda video. Have you seen those? Have you seen those?
Yeah, no, I mean,
You've seen
honestly,
those, right?
the conspiracy theorist moniker was weaponized and kind of delegitimized around the Kennedy assassination.
So
'Cause people, I mean, that was so fucking huge. People who were like, dude, this is horseshit. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. So the pejorative term of conspiracy theorists was put on us fucking many moons ago. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So
All these
there's
very sophisticated, well done videos that just,
they're
mind fucking people.
Yeah, they're produced by somewhere in the deep state. You know what I mean? Right. You guys all are what you guys seen the videos.
Yeah.
They have those videos, and they have for every conspiracy theory. It's not just 9/11. They have for JFK. You go to search YouTube for JFK, and there's videos that are highly produced that debunk the conspiracy theory about JFK. There's mad videos. There's
Do you think
people out there.
Netflix is doing some good shit?
No,
or are they
no,
in on it too?
they're in on
They're
it
owned
too.
by Soros.
It's a mix.
it's
a mix. I liked Oliver Stone's, like whatever that history of the United States, but even those were like
Yeah,
a
I
couple
don't-
things. I was
I don't
like,
trust
oh
any of
fuck,
that.
man.
I don't
Dude, you
trust
need
it.
to
Yeah, when
get
you
on
see,
Judas. You
I
need to
mean,
get
the
on
same thing's
Judas.
going on. Is it AHC? Have you guys watched the channel AHC? There's a lot of World War II, World War I stuff on there, Hitler stuff, things like that. And you watch a lot of those where they'll talk about different dictators. They'll talk about Gaddafi and do the whole breakdown on everything, and it's all incorrect. It never talks about the dinar and wanting to pay for, wanting people to pay for
This
oil
is it,
and
man.
something
This-
other
And
than the American dollar.
also-
They never talk about Saddam Hussein taking euros for his oil. None of the stuff is
Oh,
correct.
yeah, dude.
It's deliberate misinformation.
Yeah, so not only are there highly produced documentaries to debunk 9/11 conspiracy theories, but they got another level too. They got people. Anytime you make a post on any social media about 9/11 being an inside job, then you get all these bots they come out of nowhere to call you an idiot and all this shit.
AstroTurfing,
Yeah,
yep.
exactly. And then you punch their profile, and they have
AstroTurfing,
no posts,
Or they're
they have
private.
no profile. Yes, or they're private, right? So everybody, we're all in agreement. We know that not only are there propaganda, anti-conspiracy videos that are flooding YouTube, now when you search 9/11 inside job, all those videos come, like the real legit ones, are buried. They bury them. So they're controlling the search engines, and they got, whether you call them bots or paid shills online, they got a fucking army of people that as soon as you say 9/11 was an inside job, they attack you. They come after you, right? Isn't that a smart?
All the
That's
time.
why
But
when
isn't
I say
that
this
isn't
whole
that a
thing's been infiltrated? It's not new. You're right, Eddie.
isn't
This
that
has been going on for a long.
but isn't that a brilliant strategy?
Well, the government
it's
just
a brilliant
passed-
strategy,
oh,
right?
Obama
They got all
yeah,
the power to do
if
it.
we had, if we,
Eddie, have you seen? There's this documentary, dude. It's like 16 hours, but I swear to God, dude, it's called The Century of Self. It's a 3-parter. It gets into cats like Edward Bernays and Anna Freud and the behavioral scientists and the social engineers and how they just have created like marketing and advertising and how that's gone so far to mind fuck us. And it relates to our politics as well. Definitely both of you guys or anybody listen to this. A Century of Self. Fucking mind-blowing shit, dude.
yeah. So if there was something, do you think the powers that be? I just like saying the Illuminati because I don't want to. I'm not interested in picking anybody out. I'm not interested in putting anybody in jail. I just like talking about it. I like knowing how I'm being. I like knowing how I'm being fucked.
Yeah.
But let's just say there was a conspiracy theory that was had nothing to do with the government, right? And nothing to do with the government.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
would there be a big campaign like these propaganda debunking videos? No, right?
No.
It has nothing to do with it. They would only do it. They would only do it if
They're trying to hide something.
exactly.
Well,
Right?
we said that
Well, what
Voltaire.
about Tom Brady and Deflategate?
Patrick J, wash your mouth out.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect example. Was
Thank you.
the CIA producing videos to debunk Deflategate?
Well, they can
No,
use it. They can
right?
use it
Nothing
to,
stupid. That's the. I'm going to use that one, Pat, because they wouldn't. That's ridiculous, right?
Eddie,
That's
Eddie,
ridiculous.
Eddie, back to I want to go back to the bots. I want you to send out a tweet tonight to test out if the bots are real and whether they're going to come after you. I want you to send out a tweet that says it's nice to have a president with balls and a first lady who doesn't.
Oh,
Oh, you're saying Michelle Obama is a dick?
I never said that. You said that, Sam. I
Remember-
never once mentioned that.
Remember, Joan Rivers died after she said that. So watch
Yeah,
your
no.
mouth.
Of course she did,
Watch your
dude.
mouth.
Dr. freaking
Eddie,
killed
do you
her.
get
She off
shit?
her ass.
Do you get that if you do flat Earth stuff? Does people's shields come out or bots come out and start going nuts when you comment
That's
on that
exactly what I was getting to. And also, check this
fell
out. But check this out. Check this out. Wouldn't it be a good idea for the Illuminati in terms of 9/11? Wouldn't it be a good idea to not only have the bots, to not only produce debunker videos, right? To not only do that and flood the search engine. When you type in 9/11
Obama-
inside job, you're not going to get anything legit, and it gets buried. None of the good shit comes up. So
Obama did that. He passed a propaganda bill which stated that the U.S. government, can legally use
NDAA.
propaganda against the U.S. population.
NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act.
Wouldn't it be?
Two.
Is this a good idea? We're psychopaths, but we got our own country, and all we want is control. Would it be a good idea in term? And we had a 9/11. Would it be a good idea to also make a website, a 911insidejob.com website, 911 inside the 911 inside job society.com, and make it seem like it's legit, but then it's saying all this ridiculous shit in there mixed in.
Yeah.
And would it be a good idea to put it at the top of the Google search list when
Yes.
someone goes when they're on the fence and they're interested in 9/11 inside job, they're going to get 9/11 inside job society.com. Wouldn't that be a great idea? Is that a good idea?
And you think of how powerful that
Right?
shit is, dude. You have kids who are now like 18, 19, and weren't even alive when it happened. They're just mind fucking a whole nother generation.
Yeah, isn't that a good judge? They did that for Flat Earth.
Yeah.
You punch in Flat Earth, they're going to take you to the Flat Earth Society, and nobody in the Flat Earth movement came from the Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society was founded in 1970 to get anybody that's on the fence and thinking about it, they direct them to the Flat Earth Society. Now go back to 9/11 inside job society.com. Wouldn't it also be a good job for the president to go, with all these conspiracies out there about 9/11 and this 9/11 inside job society, this 9/11 inside job society, what is this? These people they're crazy. This isn't a meeting of the 9/11 inside society. What is that going to do? It's going to get people to go, what the fuck is that 9/11 inside society? They're going to punch that in, and they sends them right to the trap. Isn't that a good idea?
Oh, I agree
Isn't that
with
a good
that.
idea?
I agree with
They
that.
did that for Flat Earth. You go Flat Earth Society. Nobody has anybody that was on the fence about Flat Earth, if they go, you know what, let me see what this, because Obama said it 3 different times. Obama goes, this isn't a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. And then again,
Yeah, he
another
did
speech,
clown that shit, didn't he?
another speech, you'd go, and these people with their Flat Earth Society, he's sending people directly to the bullshit. So anybody that's on the fence and going, what is it? Everyone's talking about this Flat Earth. Let me check it out. They go to Flat Earth Society, and they got the craziest shit on there. It's ridiculous. So when you go to Google, punch in Flat Earth, and not even society, just put in Flat Earth, and with the Flat Earth Society is now 3rd. They already got a shitty Flat Earth production on Wikipedia. That's the first thing that comes up. And obviously, because
Controlled opposition. Is that what you're
dude,
saying?
Of course, but what I'm saying is,
I
hold
got a
on.
legit question.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, why the fuck are they trying to bury Flat Earth? If it's so stupid, if it's so dumb, why are they doing to flat Earth what they're doing to 9/11? They're doing it. They're doing the same thing. Why are they making
If
this
something's
effort?
called a truther or a denier, that's when they try to get you not to check into something.
Why
That's
are
just
they?
my-
Why are they producing anti-flat Earth stuff if it's so ridiculous and it's so stupid? And they're already
He's
criminals
got
and
a
they're lying
question.
about
Pat,
everything.
Pat,
Go ahead.
question. Drink your coffee.
Eddie, number one, you don't have to answer this, but I'm curious. Do you own guns?
Absolutely.
All right, the government's coming for them guns after this flat Earth discussion. Number one.
Good luck.
Number two.
Now, come take it
Listen,
from my cold dead hands.
Rubber guard.
Damn straight.
Yeah, you ain't taking my guns.
Here's what
Here's
what I want to
Go
know.
ahead.
When I look at the moon, is the moon like a fucking paper plate up there? Is it, or is it a globe?
The moon is mysterious. You know, we only see one side of it. We never see the other side. It never moves, not even 1/2 of a degree. From thousands of years, it's the exact same side. It doesn't spin, and they say it's caught in a synchronous orbit. But from all
Is that the same for the sun?
the sun, it's just a bright light. You can't tell what the hell's going on. But with the moon, we only see the one side. Doesn't make any sense. Even before I got into flat Earth, for the last 10 years, the moon never made sense to me. I'm like, how? Because then when you pay attention to it, you're like, okay, during the crescent moon, okay, it makes sense that because I mean, the conspiracy theory is that the light coming from the moon is not a reflection of the sun. The conspiracy theory is that the moon actually gives off its own light. It's its own luminary. It wouldn't be that fucking bright if it wouldn't reflect light like that. That's the conspiracy theory. And then also they're saying they're measuring the light of the moon, the temperature, and the sun obviously is warmer in the light than it is in the shade. But moonlight, according to the conspiracy theory, is colder in the light than in the shade. It's warmer in the shade. So what they're saying is that the moonlight is totally different light than the sunlight. The moon is a goddamn mystery. It doesn't rotate, and we only see, no matter where you are in the world,
Their societies.
it's the same face. It's the exact same thing.
But how do flat earthers explain, is it fictitious, the, Voyager and all these other crafts that we've sent out to explore, and go past all these planets and take pictures and film all these detailed, films of these planets? I mean, to me, they're obviously round. I mean, are these Hollywood CGI films, or that's what I'm asking. What are flat earthers saying?
Well, when it comes to flat Earth, you got to look at it from a whole different stance. It's not like. It's like it's the grand plan. Once you understand, or once you believe that the grand plan, when you're controlling people, is to never tell them the truth. You only tell them what they need to know. You never tell the people the truth. So according to all ancient religions, including Christianity, we're in a special place. The lights up in the sky, the stars, they're revolving around us, and we're on a flat plane, and we're stationary. Geocentric. That's according to ancient religions, right? So, when you're a dictator or an emperor, you don't want people knowing what's really going on. You don't want people knowing where they really came from. Why would you tell them? You're trying to control them. You're trying to keep your control. So you don't want to tell them the truth, right? So religion and science or astrophysics are completely opposite. On one hand, we're a special place. The lights above us are going around us. God, our creator, whatever you want to call him, there is a creator to this, and this is like some kind of special place, and it's a mystery as to what we're really doing here. And maybe that's part.
But of course, that changed with Galileo, right? It went from geocentric to heliocentric with Galileo.
Well, Copernicus, but hold on. When you're trying to tell. When you're trying to control, first there was Pythagoras. He was the first one, like 2,000 years before Copernicus. He's the one who said, hey, maybe, because it was always about, are we going around the sun or is the sun going around us? That was the riddle. The riddle, what's going on? Are we going around the sun or is the sun going around us? So Pythagoras, 3,000 years ago or whatever, said, we're going around the sun. But everyone's saying, no, the sun and everything is revolving around us. We're in a special place. So if the key to controlling your people is to not ever tell them the fucking truth, is it coincidence that it's the exact opposite what they're telling us? So instead of being stationary, we're spinning on our own axis 1,000 miles an hour. We're going around the sun at 60,000 miles an hour. The sun's going around the center of the Milky Way at 600,000 miles an hour. And the whole Milky Way galaxy is shooting through the universe at 1 million miles an hour. That's 4 different motions. Yet we feel nothing, yet everybody believes it. So it's astrophysics is telling us the opposite of what we've been told by religions. The opposite. We're not special. We're insignificant. As a matter of fact, we're a speck of dust in this fucking endless ocean of the universe, of nothingness. It's nothing. And, it's a whole story. It's like the Big Bang. We came from nothing and we fucking exploded, right? And then there was dinosaurs. And then the dinosaurs died out. Then the cavemen came. And then then the monkeys came. Sorry. And then we came from monkeys. But some monkeys didn't evolve. But we did. And then endless space. And then when you look at the grand plan of all emperors was they wanted one world. They wanted one religion where they can control. It's like a religion for a government is like controlled opposition. They don't want to battle God. They would rather have no one believe in God. But you know what? They got to have a God because everybody, you have like everyone.
Gives poor people hope.
Yes, and it gets your armies to kill, for God. So you kind of need that. So you kind of just say, okay, yes, there is a God, and put a lot of goofy shit into your religion to get people. Some people are going to believe in it, and then the people that don't, they got the government waiting for them. We got science. We got the scientists over here. If you don't believe in that, because we don't need everybody to believe in God. That's the first way to divide and conquer. You create a religion, and like every emperor had a religion, and they decided what the religion was going to be, right? You didn't choose your religion. Your parents didn't choose their religion. Your government chose your religion, right? So anyways, so when you look at the whole story, you need the Big Bang, the end game. The end game is a one world order. That's the end game. It's always been that everybody wants, all the emperors, they wanted to control everything. And that's what's still going on now. It's still going on now. So
how does the Earth being round or not round affect
Hold on, I'm explaining. I'm explaining that. I'm explaining that. So the only way or the best way, and it's coming, and everybody knows about this, the best way to get everyone to agree onto this one world order is a fake alien invasion. They've been talking about this forever. This is part of the grand plan.
Project Bluebeam?
It's not even like 20 years old. It's like it's thousands of years old. They need that's how they're going to get control. So in order to get people to believe in this fake alien invasion, we got to have endless space and other planets where other beings have colonized. That's the only way they're going to get
extraterrestrial shit, Eddie.
Yes, but I don't believe they come from space. I believe they come from underground. Or the same plane that we're on.
We don't have much time. Let me ask you, dude. There is actual science called transit photometry. It's basically using light to measure a planet's like density, mass, temperature, and even their radius. They can tell whether it's circular or not. And this is I'm a lay scientist, believe me, but I remember this shit from my college science class on how they use light to measure all this different shit about a planet. But one of the things they used light in this particular transit photometry to measure is their radius. Is that bullshit? Like, are there circular planets and are they all like Neptune and all that other shit? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, if the plan is the fake alien invasion and if it always was the plan, if that was the plan, then wouldn't it make sense if that was real? Let's just hypothetically, we're on a flat plane and we're the rulers of this of this flat plane. Wouldn't it be a good idea to establish NASA in 1958 to have all information on what's above us coming from NASA? and everything coming. Because the stuff that you're talking about, I've looked into that. The stuff where they send a beam and they hit a planet and then they could tell how far it is away and all that. That's all stuff we have no access to verify. It's called scientism. Scientism is science you have to have faith in. It isn't science you could prove for yourself.
Isn't there just other people out there doing shit that you may not know about that still are providing valid
No,
information?
but that's called faith. We're talking about faith.
Right, no, absolutely.
We're talking about faith. If I don't need faith to the science in, for instance, Viagra. The science, whatever the science is in Viagra, I don't need to read a scientific study on Viagra to know it works.
Proof is in the boner.
Right? Exactly. Proof is in the boner. The same thing. Like for instance, we go back to 9/11. The University of Alaska, they did a scientific study on Tower 7 to finally prove it once and for all scientifically if Tower 7 was blown up. And the results came in and they said yes, with all the evidence, yes, Tower 7 was a controlled demo. I didn't need a group of scientists. I think it's crazier that we needed a group of scientists to tell us that Tower 7 was a controlled demo. I think that's ridiculous. Of course they found out it was a controlled demo. There's 5 angles of it going.
But as far as like a NIST report, they need shit like that. They need 5 or 6 guys to be like, hey, I'm from the fucking University of Controlled Demolition. And
Well, some
XYZ,
lawyers.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, some lawyers
No,
all came
but
out.
my point is that was there was another scientific study.
Right.
No, hold on. There was another scientific study on the effects of alcohol on your libido, and the results were yes, alcohol consumption increases your libido. Did anybody need to read that? Did anybody need to read that?
No, of course.
You know what I mean? You
So
don't,
this-
because
Eddie,
that's not.
Have you
No,
talked
hold
about
on.
the sugar science that was suppressed? I mean, there's
exactly.
sciences that we fuck with, right?
Exactly.
That we may not know specifically
Exactly.
about, but
The
we know the sugar science was suppressed. We know it's bad for you. We trust that, don't we?
Yeah. My point is, there's science that's scientific fact, like the science that connects my iPhone to the internet. I know that science is real. I don't need to read in a book that says iPhones can connect to the internet. Okay. I know that, right? But science that we have no way to confirm, we have to have faith in.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
So when
I think
any
the
science,
though, of alcohol, Eddie, I think the science of alcohol improving your libido is garbage. I think it just makes fat chicks look good.
that's a good one. You should do stand up. That's good.
So I get what you're
I'm going to
saying.
use that, Pat. I'm going to use that. So what my point is, when it comes to science that we when you got to look at,
So you're saying-
NASA was
you're-
formed in
hold on.
1958 by Nazis.
Let
Werner
me-
von Braun is a Nazi. Right there.
Eddie,
All the information coming out of
You're
NASA.
not an ophthalmologist, but you're cool with your eye working. You don't have to understand the science to know that certain shit is outside of maybe our realm. of
No.
understanding.
That's not what he's saying. Hold on. Let me just say, because it was confusing what you're saying. What I'm understanding is this, is that you can prove that your phone can hook up the internet because you could use it,
Yes.
right? You're not going to space. You're not going to, and you take faith in that these people are going, we've been to space. This is what we've learned. We have faith that they are telling us the truth.
That's
Whereas
scientism.
I
technically,
get that.
we have not gone to space. You and me and everybody on the
Exactly.
show.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are taking faith
Yeah.
that NASA is telling us the truth when we've seen over time.
It's a psychological term called object permanence. Eddie, you know your car's outside. You don't see it, but you know your car's outside.
Yeah, but I can go. I love Eddie. I love that he's into that. That's his thing.
I love Eddie
but that's
too.
not.
Don't even trip,
But
dude.
that's not the same thing, Jeffrey. Because I can walk out and touch my car and know it's right there.
But you don't see it right now.
Yeah, but
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking
that's not
about
what
science.
We're talking
I'm
about.
talking-
What we're talking. What
talking
he's
about
saying
science.
is that we all take the word of people that we've known has lied to us before that this is true shit. And that there's a lot of people on it. And that even if a scientist came to you going, this number, technically, you're never going to be able to prove it until you yourself go up there and see it. Is that what we're saying here?
Basically. I'm not saying, when NASA says every 6 months they say they found 9 new planets 100,000 light years away. I would like to go there and see the process. Show me how you figured that out. Nobody has the access to do that. They just say, they're scientists. They know more than you. How could you, not trust scientists? I do trust scientists. I do, but when it comes to actual experiments that I have no access to and I have no way of verifying it, you don't make any money by believing in scientism. It makes no difference whether you believe that they found 7 new planets last year or not. How does that change your life? I just choose not to believe it. I don't believe because they lied so much. They faked 6 moon missions. NASA was started by Nazis. Werner von Braun directed all 6 moon missions. He's a Nazi. He wrote a science fiction book on colonizing.
On a closer to home scale, when you think of global warming, I mean global cooling, I mean climate change. Which is it?
Whose science do you trust? I feel you, dude.
It fucking changed a moving target, man.
I don't know.
Eddie, that's been the bane of my existence since I was fucking 16, 17 and found out what really happened with fucking JFK, quite frankly, and that's what started me in all this shit. They've lied about so much. How do you accept anything? So it's really just up to the individual to have their own discernment where they put the brakes on what they're how much they're lying about. Like from the origin of our fucking history and civilization, they're lying about. You know what I mean? The food pyramid, all this shit that they're trying to do to kill us, they're lying about.
Look at sugar science, tobacco science, marijuana science,
all of it,
vaccine science.
I'm with you.
When it comes to science, I'm not going to believe it unless I can verify. Unless they're going to throw me in jail for it. They go, you better believe that, or we're going to jail. Then I'll believe it.
Did you see Joe's episode with Steve-O when he talked about he went up in the Soviet MiG and he could see the curvature of the Earth? Have you?
Well, yeah. What do you think of that?
Start a go fucking fund me to get Eddie in some kind
of.
Listen
to this really quick.
Before we stop, would you literally have to see it yourself to see? Oh fuck! That's what I knew. It's flat. Or holy shit, that's the curvature. Would you literally have to see it yourself?
I've said this before. All I would need is a uncut, unedited video. Put a video camera on without a fisheye lens, right on one of the astronauts' helmets that are going to the ISS, the internet. They supposedly go like 4 times a year. Get me the unedited video, them getting on the rocket, all the way up, docking, uncut. I don't care if it takes 12 hours. Get docking and then turning around and keeping that camera on the Earth and then turning it into space. If I see that, then I might believe.
Awesome.
Other than that, why would I believe it? Why? For what?
Yep.
What was that?
We need to get him up there, ladies and gentlemen. GoFundMe, get fucking Eddie.
You don't need to get me. You could just do. You know what? You don't need a GoFundMe. You just need to put a fucking camera. You can go to Best Buy. For $12, you could put a fucking camera on the dudes that are already going up there 4 times a year, and they're docking on the International Space Station that's going 17,000 miles an hour, and they're docking on something that's going 17,000 miles an hour. Show me that shit.
I'd like to see that.
How come we should have
Eddie with fucking Eric Dubé sitting on his lap and that shit on fucking Facebook
people.
Live.
You know what?
Hold on. What'd you want to say about Eric Dubé? You said something that his uncle or his grandfather was
one of his ex's father is in the Royal Thai military and supposedly tied to intelligence. That's all I really heard.
Oh, so he banged some strange?
He some great rap albums. If you haven't heard Eric Dubé's rap, holy fuck, dude. You talk about platinum records.
Well, I just want to say it's so interesting considering all of us, we have different points of views, different walks of life. I love that we can come together, we can talk loud, but we don't necessarily need to believe each other's point of view, but we can still walk away with this this is what America needs to be. We need to compromise as opposed to just build up walls. And it's one of the things I love about Eddie because he is so passionate about these things. He doesn't care what people think, how he puts it out, because guess what? This is how he feels. And for me being a conspiracy theorist, he takes so much heat for us. And for that, man, Eddie, you fucking out there. I know no one can fuck with you physically, but I feel some of the repercussions in like the message boards. I just want to say, keep fighting that good fight, Eddie. Whether it's child shit or fucking flat earth.
Hey, I do. I apprient you.
Eddie brought up fucking weird when on Joe Rogan when he brought up that weird scenes, the fucking Laurel Canyon book, and the guy David McGowan. He died of an early cancer. I mean, Eddie, I fuck with you, dude. I love you, brother. And when you brought that up and you brought up conspiracy of silence, I was like, this motherfucker knows what's up, dude. Because that Laurel Canyon shit, ladies and gentlemen, check that shit out.
How
Jim
many?
Morrison,
Thank you.
Stuff.
Thank you for that. But ask yourself, how many more times does the government have to bullshit you before you're suspicious of everything? Think about this. CNN is fake news, right?
Right.
We know that. CNN is CIA, right?
Yes.
So every time you turn on your phone and you see CNN on your fucking iPhone, that's the first thing, you know it's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
It's never the truth, right?
For sure.
How about when they put SpaceX just got into space again? What about that? Or how about when
I
CNN
was
puts
with that. I'm like, why is that car not melting? It's 260 degrees.
exactly anybody who believes that shit was real?
Hold on, but Eddie,
my motherfucking
you
God.
bring up stuff that this is all done on purpose. When you're talking, and we got to wrap it up, but real quick, you talk about how you think all this false flag shit is done janky for purposes to keep us distracted.
Yes, the Parkland shooting. It was so obviously a false flag that they have to do it on purpose.
Nobody died.
It's like
nobody died.
No. People
they
die.
die.
False flag doesn't mean no one
I
dies.
want you to qualify that because that's what I say too. I think it was a fucking Operation Gladio type joint, but I think people. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Vegas definitely
but
was.
there's so many fuck ups, that I think they're doing it on purpose. Like when they put that lady, the teacher, on ABC. They have her on ABC.
Yeah.
It wasn't live. They could have easily cut it out. And she said she described what happened during the shooting. She says, I opened up the door. I let all
there's
the
the
kids.
cops there in armor shooting
Why are the
people.
cops here in fucking SWAT gear or whatever it was?
Exactly. So, and then the David Hogg shit where he says he goes home and then to get his camera and then comes back.
That was horse.
Listen,
shit.
that was done on purpose. I
Or
think
the blonde chick who said she was fucking talking to him, and then we heard shots over here. It's like, Cruz, I'm surprised this wasn't you. And then we heard shots over on the other side of the campus. Like, dude, come on.
This is what I think. I think this is my opinion. I think the Illuminati really, they don't give a fuck if we have guns or not. I think they don't. I think they'd like to take them away and they're doing little things. But I think with the FISA document about to be released, everyone was saying, wait for a false flag. It's about to drop. And then Parkland happens. I think that they were like, okay, we need a false flag quick. We need people to argue about gun control. Let's do Operation B or whatever. And Operation B is do a false flag, make it so obvious that it's a false flag that all the conspiracy theorists are talking about all the bullshit in the false flag.
But then you weaponize the kids in the way that they did. You had hundreds of thousands in the streets everywhere. These guys
That was organized
Well, that's like
by
extra.
adults.
Yeah, that's
they
like
were coming for the
no,
guns.
yeah, no.
It's
that-
like any other
yeah.
fucking tyrannical government. They're gonna take your guns and then they're gonna move in on the Agenda 21.
You know what?
shit.
They wouldn't have made so many mistakes. There was too many mistakes. Why did they put that lady talking about? Because, and then I saw the police.
Did that change anything? The mistakes, did that change?
You know what it
amount
did?
Of fucking,
No, what it
everyone's
did?
talking about it. The kids are everywhere.
No. What it did is it got
These
people
kids
talking
are
about.
vilified.
It got people.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's an easy trap for people to fall into.
Yeah,
you see,
we're gonna start
Ted
arguing about-
Nugent's a guy with millions upon millions of dollars, and he doesn't care because, well, he's not really doing a whole lot anymore. He's got his money that he needs to live, and he can speak out any way he wants and call these kids flat out liars. Any of us, if I did that, dude, I would lose my job so fast it would be ridiculous.
Yep.
It's all a distraction. I mean, 17 kids did die in Parkland. That same month,
No, it's horrible.
Without a doubt.
670 innocent civilians were killed in Syria.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers don't add up.
800,000 kids get kidnapped.
Just
a year.
know this, dude. The people that are telling you about chemical weapons attacks and all this stuff that we all know is bullshit, and are the mouthpiece to people committing atrocities like we've never seen in Syria and Yemen right now, are the same ones who are telling you about marching and we need to get rid of guns and all that stuff. And
We didn't get to the white helmets, dude. They fucking want a documentary for just like blatantly fucking lying their ass
Well-
off. They got Instagram and videos of them faking this shit.
Yeah.
This shit is deep, man. People got to wake the fuck up.
Duncan
Sorry,
Trussell
don't
once
get
said. Duncan Trussell once said. He said. He said it in a joke, but he's like, it's okay. It's not okay to gas people, but it's okay to bomb them.
yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
Right.
Fire's okay, but chemicals are bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and if you guys don't think nefarious things are at play, if you type in Illuminati.com, you type in Illuminati backwards and put .com, that will take you to the NSA's website. So you just go ahead and tell me why the fuck Illuminati
Are
spelled
you
backwards.
serious?
Anybody can do that, though. Anybody can.
100%. But that's what that brings you to.
No, but anybody can do that. Unless I'm wrong, I could put 10thplanetjj.com and then forward it to NSA, and then we'll just go to NSA.com.
I don't know.
Can we please do that? Let's start that.
Can
this
anybody
month.
do that? Can anybody
I don't think
take
so
a
because
website?
you have to have their
IP?
Their IP.
So that's like
Are
a
you
laugh
sure?
in your face, like, yeah, we're the Illuminati.
I wouldn't doubt
Hey
it.
Sam, I know we're short on time, dude. I just want to truly say, man, thank you so very much for having us on. Eddie, man, it was
Thank you.
such a fucking honor to talk to you, dude. And I'm again, like your boy said, I'm sorry I don't remember your name. That's not like a
Ryan.
We need to be able to talk and, like King said, fucking disagree without being violently disagreeable.
Yeah.
We're never gonna just agree on everything, dude. But we must keep the shit going. Fucking 1,000 points of light. Fucking seriously, dude. We need to keep going, man. Truth to power. That's how it's
For
gonna happen.
sure.
And vote with our dollars.
Pat, thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure to
guys.
talk to you.
I, for the most part, was pretty quiet most of the show. I just sat back and listened to you characters.
Yeah, well, as one of
Sorry
my
about that.
very
You are
good
correct.
friends.
I just typed in Illuminati.com backwards and NSA.gov.
So now you're double on the list. Sweet.
Boom, dude. I love it. Eddie,
Hey, just for the record, I love the Illuminati. Just
we're big fans
love
of
it.
Illuminati.
I'm just fascinated with how the level of brainwash and propaganda. I'm fascinated by that shit.
Guys, this shows like this, and we got to do these regularly with all of us on here because nobody else is doing this, and it's like it's so important, and people are finding us, and it's growing, and I think we're part of a movement. Whether we make any difference or not, I don't know. Eddie, come see Eddie, Ryan, and myself June 1st at Cobb's in San Francisco. Comedy, conspiracy. Go check out Conspiracy Farm on all the different platforms. Leave 5-star
SoundCloud.
reviews. SoundCloud.
Sacramento,
Google.
June 2nd.
June 2nd,
Sacramento.
Sacktown. Get to
Punchline.
San Francisco. I'm not worried about Sacramento. I want to rock and pack out San Francisco. Leave those 5-star reviews for both shows, Conspiracy Farm and Tinfoil Hat. And we love you guys, and we got some great shows coming up. We'll do this again soon, guys. Take care.
Peace and love, guys. Peace and so much love.